You can see the man next to me has been working pretty hard because he's just sold a shed load of sheep. I'm going to do a bit of the housekeeping, so what I'm going to do is I'll put a link to this video and a link to your Facebook page on the video, so you don't have to explain who you are, except that you're a PPG Wrightson's auctioneer and stock agent, and I'll do all that for you. But today I just watched 5,000 sheep get sold.
Yep.
Tell me your thoughts on that sale. Give us an update.
Guys were pretty selective on people were very selective on what they want. They knew what they wanted. They're after quality sheep and full shed sheep from what I could see. Anything else, they were a little bit maybe standoffish.
Yeah. I came last year.
Yep.
And I watched 2,100 sheep get sold. And last year, the buyers were eating up everything.
Yep.
Crossbred lambs were going $200. The top ewes, $500.
Yep.
We started the ewes. We started the two-tooth pen this year at $500. And I think the buyers, they enjoyed paying good money for good sheep.
Yeah, I think there's a couple of things that probably come into it. You know, farmers are strapped for cash at the moment. So when they do buy something, they want to make sure that it's an investment. Secondly, we're getting more shedding sheep around. You know, there's probably more this year than there was last year. So,
I don't know where you found 3,000 extra sheep.
Well,
there was 2,000. There was 2,100 last year. There's 5,000, and I don't know how you managed to find them. Where do they come from?
Well, because more people are getting into them. Yeah.
And I think that's a big reflection of what's out there.
Oh, 100%. Yeah, 100%.
If you look out there, and we look at the good pens, and those middle pens were really still fought after, but they were probably back, I think probably $20 to $40 from last year. Those, and then the bottoms were well down. But for those guys getting into it, there were some bargains in those bottom pens. But the guys that needed those bottom pens don't have the money to buy them this year, isn't it? So it's a real catch-22 out there.
Yep.
Because even some of those bottom pens were really good buying. If you looked at them, they're going to make lovely tutus.
Oh, they will. Yeah.
It's a lot of those.
There was some very
bargains.
Good buying in them, and to be fair, they'll probably shed up nicely next year.
Correct.
And I mean, okay, it's a shedding sheep sale, and everyone likes to see them nice and clean, and some of them weren't. But at one more cross or one more year on them, and I think they'll be quite different sheep again.
And that's too. Sometimes you've got to look at what will that produce, and you've got these guys that are going from woolly sheep to shedding sheep. Well, there was 5 years advancement by buying some of those cheap lambs today.
Yep.
And that's when we change our mindset a little bit.
Oh, and that's a big thing. I mean, I was talking to someone out there today, and people have to get their head around long tails. They've got to get their head around bits of wool hanging on a sheep. They've got to get their head around they may not be the most masculine sheep in the head, but they're getting there. They're getting there. It's a time thing.
I don't think, personally, and I get in trouble, but I don't think the New Zealand farmers are quite ready for the long tails. I think that's cost people a little bit, but that will come. Because as a true easycare sheep, why do you want to dock it?
But how long ago was it that we weren't ready for shedding sheep?
Correct. Well, shedding farmers used to get hassled. They were outcast of the farming world.
There's someone who had a good number of sheep in here today, and he'd been breeding sheep for probably 15 years out the back of his farm before he told people that he was doing it. And that was that whole stigma around shedding sheep. We'll just do it out the back. We won't tell anyone. We'll just work away at it quietly. It was a lifestyle block thing. Yeah.
And I know this is going to go out there, but and I don't think you'll disagree that wool is an amazing product.
Yep.
People who have shedding sheep don't hate wool. They think that's amazing, but they don't want the costs and the stuff involved with it. They don't want that at all.
Look, wool is a product that it's going to get better, but it's not going to be through carpet or something like that. It's going to be something completely outside the box. And no, I agree. These guys don't hate sheep, but they've given it don't hate wool, but they've given it a chance. They've given it a chance for 20 plus years.
No, we can go back further than that.
Yeah.
Because the wool board dug their head in the sand when I was 15.
Yep.
And that was 30 years ago.
So, shedding sheep are a commercial decision.
And how about this for a big statement? I believe that the answer for wool is shedding sheep. Because if we take 30% of New Zealand's sheep population and we turn them into shedding sheep, 30% less wool, is going to improve wool prices, even though it's a worldwide problem, so we probably need to do it around the world. But it's part of the solution for wool is to get rid of those woolly sheep that aren't that efficient.
Yeah, possibly. I still think it's going to come from taking the protein out of the wool and doing something else with it, or whatever. You know, I mean, they tell me they're taking the protein out of wool at the moment and turning it into protein drinks, stuff like that, lipstick. So it's going to be something that it's not going to be carpet in schools and Parliament. That's just not going to cut it. So wool's an amazing product, and people just need to realise what it can do. And maybe you're right. Maybe that reduction of say 30% is going to help kick it into gear a little bit, get it moving. And it's cost effective for everyone if they do that, because the cost of wool at the moment, shearing it, dealing with it, these sheep are the answer there. And if you have a farming system that works with that, mate, it's going to be awesome. I guess at the very least, if you get rid of that 30-odd% of wool sheep and it increases the price a little bit, it lets those wool guys that are farming for wool stay in it and keep doing it, because there's maybe a little bit more profit in it for them. So, yeah.
Are we going to see the shedding maternal ewe challenge the Romney ewe as New Zealand's maternal choice?
I want to say not in my lifetime, but I don't know. I mean, it's not, as we just said, it's not that long ago that, shedding sheep weren't even really on the radar. Possibly.
No, it was past.
We'll see. Big statement.
It's a big statement.
But we'll see again. Well, you need to rest. You've had a massive sale. It was awesome to see the number of sheep out there today.
Yeah, it was good. Yeah.
It was and good selection.
Quality sheep too.
And there was something for everyone actually.
Yeah.
Every buyer that came, but I think you probably ran out of buyers towards the end there.
Yeah.
Just a little bit.
But you know, when you look at lines like the capital stock line that was in there today, and you can just see how good these sheep can be.
We've got to realise that a lot of the other sheep there were the people's seconds.
Yep.
You know, they were their draft offs, their mixed age draft. But those RJ Trust capital stock, outstanding. And the price reflected that.
Exactly.
The buyers set that market, they set the prices.
Yep. That's right.
And yeah, really awesome. Hey, thanks so much.
All right, mate.